Hey, what's up? This is Delio coming to you with another video, and this video is all about the MPC Keys 61, MPC Key 61. This is my review of it. I had to get some time to get some hands on it. I want to first give a shout out to DJ McCree, who allowed me to come by and check it out. You're going to see a collaboration video soon on that, so stay tuned for that. So give a shout out to DJ McCree. If you follow his channel, make sure you go over there in his comments and type Dilly Gang so that he know I sent you over there to check out his videos and to show him some love on the content. Really dope collaboration coming out soon. And thankfully with that, I was able to get kind of like my final thoughts or my first thoughts about the keyboard moving forward on this. So this video is going to talk about the keyboard mostly. I'm going to talk a little bit about the new plugins that came out. There's a new set of plugins that came out, but I'm mainly going to focus on the keyboard itself and my experience with it. So my first thoughts when I saw it, and I don't know, somebody thought I was trying to make fun of Akai on the comments on Instagram, but I said, cool, ASR 10 2.0, and I put an LOL there because I was like, wow, this is actually pretty cool. And the reason I say that because the first thought that came to my mind about this keyboard is a sampling keyboard. I don't think there's been really a lot of sampling keyboards that has been released. Here's the thing, like sampling for workstation keyboards has been kind of like that extra feature that all these keyboards have, but it's not the center point of it. So, you know, you can sample on a motif or you can sample on a phantom, but nobody does it. Even when I had my Motif ES6, I would try to sample on that. It's like, wow, it samples. I have a sampler, but I didn't use it a lot of times, and then it was kind of tricky to program the groups onto the keys. And on top of that, you know, you got used to your sequencer on there. You know, you got used to your sequencer on the Roland or the Phantom, the Korg, Tritons, the Motif, and I actually got pretty proficient on the Motif sequencer, but I'll tell you, as far as ease of use and just getting to everything pretty quickly, the MPC provided like the best sequencer. And so back to the keyboard because it's easy to go off on a tangent. So the keyboard itself is cool. The first thing I had to do was touch the keys. When I touched the keys, I was like, ah, okay. The keys were actually good. The reason that they were good is because they had, I could feel the felt. That's the way I put it. You know, when you touch a key, you either feel like you're hitting plastic, but I felt like I was hitting a soft felt surface. And the keys felt good. They felt very solid. I was like, wow, if Akai had released a MIDI controller that felt like this when I played it, I would have invested in an Akai MIDI controller. Instead, I invested in the Nectar Impact GXP 61 because they really put out some premium controllers, and I wanted to have a nice controller that I could enjoy that had a good keyboard-like feel, like how you would feel on a Korg, Triton, Phantom, Motif type of keyboard. So the keypad is good. The pads are from the MPC one, so they feel like these. They are black and not gray like these, but it's about this size and scale on there. Very playable. You have the touch strip on the side. Pitch bend and modulation wheel on that board is very respectable. You can do a lot of good soloing and ripping on it if you like to do synth line leads and stuff like that. It does keep up. Feels good. You can actually probably talk box with it if you want to. Very playable. I was surprised because I was expecting it to be more like my small MPK 25, where you got large size keys and you did have aftertouch, but it was still kind of like that plastic feel to it. The interesting thing about this is the plugins. So, you know, Akai released like a suite of new premium plugins. And when I saw that, I was like, all right, the gravy train is over with as far as the free updates, because these plugins do cost you extra to get them unless you buy the keyboard. And if you buy the keyboard, you get these plugins included. With the keyboard being approximately $1,900 and the plugins being themselves about $500, you know, you take away $500 from $1,900, you got $1,400. You would have got a $1,400 MPC, which would have been crazy to have that without the plugins. But I think the thing is like you need to get into that realm of the Roland, Korg, Yamaha world of keyboards. You need premium sounds, and definitely the plugins themselves sound premium. And I'll compare it to Keyscape. It is Keyscape level. Keyscape is like here, and then like the plugins are like right there, because I know in Keyscape you can hear the details and you can hear the felt and probably hear somebody coughing in the room on Keyscape plugins. You know, it's so detailed. Like you in a room, you can hear somebody answering their phone while you're playing the sample, and you hear somebody answering their phone in the studio, and you're like, shh, it's not that detailed, but it's quality, it's playable. I know a lot of keyboard musicians who are who are able to get their hands on one very quickly, who play in church, probably taking it to church tomorrow morning. They're going to show it off and check out the organ, which brings me to the plugins. Fabric XL is good. The organ definitely sounds great. It's got drawbars. Get a volume pedal on it. Very good sounding. The Rhodes, I was impressed by the Rhodes. I was ready to hate the Rhodes. I actually liked the Rhodes keyboard. It sounded good. The piano sounded good. Like I said, Keyscape-ish, not original MPC-ish piano, but Keyscape-ish, you know, as far as quality. Very playable. Has some good guitar sounds in there too. It's almost like the Fabric XL plugin is kind of Omnisphere-like. Right, because Omnisphere has like a little bit of everything in it. That's quality. So Fabric XL is a quality, like it has like a little bit of everything, and it even has a minimized, downsized version of certain sounds or versions of like a Fabric piano, Fabric stage piano. Which confused me because why are you having two plugins of the same thing? Well, the actual thing is that there are slimmed down versions of it to help deal with the hardware limitations of the MPCs, like the MPC One X Live, because those are 2 gigabytes, whereas this MPC K61 has 4 gigabytes with 32 gigabytes of storage. I think this has 16. My Live has 16. So, you know, they try to do things to kind of accommodate that. But an interesting thing that I didn't have notated here was that updating the plugins was pretty wild with that update, because now you can connect wirelessly to your network, get the plugins, get a QR code, scan that QR code, open it on your phone, and authorize your new plugins if you get them on there, and totally update your MPC Live without a computer. That was pretty cool because, you know, when you did updates, you had to get the USB drive, put it on there, do that, and kind of just hope and pray you don't break it or nothing goes bad as you update that now. But, you know, if you got a device that has wireless in it, like the Live, the one doesn't have wireless up in it. MPC KEY does. MPC Keys does. Key. But that is funny that it doesn't have an SD card in it as well. That's another detail we noticed about that, and we talked about, is that the MPC K61 or MPC Key 61 does not have an SD card in it. I was thinking to myself, I was visualizing what would that be like in the room. So inside, I was thinking, okay, they must have been had a meeting. It was like on a Monday. They had a meeting. I was like, okay, we want to keep this thing in the price. What do we got to do to keep this at a certain price? We might have to take out the SD card. They'll still have a USB, but we got to take out the SD card. I'm like, ouch, that would have been cool, because it's something about having a placeable meter that looks like a disc that goes into the MPC, and we lost that. But of course, you can always use a dongle to adapt to an SD card, and it'll probably work fine. So that was definitely interesting. Now, one of the things that was jarring to me about working with the MPC Keys 61 is that the muscle memory for your buttons is different. The laid out button, there's 2 shift buttons. There's certain functions that I wanted to go straight to that were there. Some were not there. So like your MPC One, your X has more buttons going to more specific functions. However, you can still access some of them. There's a little bit of memorization that you have to kind of get into with the buttons. I was like, okay, I get it. But if you're looking for like track mix, it's just mix or edit, like program edit is now just edit on the keyboard. So, you know, you're going to find yourself kind of moving the way you normally would. If you're coming from one of the drum machine standalone units to this, you're going to feel yourself kind of moving in a certain way that doesn't serve you well on that board, because a few things are a little bit arranged a little bit differently. But after a while, you know, you spend time with it, you get your muscle memory down for that too. So, you know, the also thing is that you can install a hard drive on it, so that's cool. You don't have the SD card slot, but you do have a hard drive slot a la MPC Live 1, 2, X, Force. Definitely can do that. You know, and if it were not for the new sounds, the form factor would be a winner alone. But the premium sounds do take you over the top. You do feel like you got a keyboard that can compete with the Roland Korg Yamaha type workstations. However, the difference is that you have a sequencer that actually you can work with that's very easy. And I can't say that the other sequencers are not easy, especially if that's all you got and that's all you use and that's all you work with. Of course, you're going to master the sequencers on those. But as far as universally, I feel like as when you're dealing with hardware and a lot of different things, having that sequencer at the heart of it with those sounds is really cool. And I definitely want to go into more details about the plugins at a later time. And it was hard. It was hard not to like it because it has a good sequencer. And also, one thing I like about the MPC Key 61 is that when you hit a button randomly or something, it just doesn't randomly play on itself. How many times, and you let me know in the comments, how many times have you sat down with it and you fire up that keyboard, you hit a sound, next thing you know, you got a whole drum pattern going on with arpeggio, and you just hit one note. How many times have you seen somebody actually do that in church or at a gig? They playing, and then they might brush their finger on a preset. Next thing you know, they're in a performance arpeggio mode, and the arpeggio starts as soon as you hit the note. I never liked that. I guess that's a demo thing. I mean, this is that you know the songs that play automatically if you accidentally hit the wrong thing. You're not gonna have to worry about that with this. So I was glad about that. Now, I guess one thing I do wish it was more of, so the facade on the front, the front frame of it, definitely was a matte finish black, but it does have weight to it. There wasn't a lot not to like about it. You know, I think the main things I wanted to dislike about it, or I was going to target as far as the weak points for me, was the keypad and how that moved. The touchscreen, I didn't care because that's the same touchscreen. Knobs, I wasn't really worried about that. But the main important features for the keyboard that I was concerned about, that would say me saying, I'm not so sure about it, is the keypad, the pitch bend. I already know the pads are good. I work with these pads all the time. They're good. They do the job. Touch strip, I use that sometimes on the MPC Studio. But the keypad, and then you got sustain, you got multiple jacks in, foot controller jacks, sustain jacks, all that stuff. You can put that all up in there, and you cooking, and it's a lot of fun. And I think that it's going to be a lot of fun. It's going to bring a lot of people a lot of joy. I definitely want one to kind of further optimize my situation. But if you already have one of these and you're able to get access to the plugins, you don't really need it. It's just a cool factor now at this point. But if you really don't have any MPCs and you want to get into it, this would be a great entry way for you. You can find one because it's fun. It's MPC. It's already a proven platform. They've been doing updates pretty regularly on that, which I talked about in another video. And I have a feeling they're going to keep doing this again. It may not be an update for a while because there's a lot of stuff in here, but they still have to optimize some things because I do have some plugins and some concerns with the plugins as far as making my own sounds, because one of the first things I did was I opened up Fabric XL and I made a couple of my own bass sounds. So if you think about that, there may be a Chemicals MPC coming soon because I was able to really sink my teeth into the deep depths of the Fabric XL plugin. Lots of fun. But yeah, I call it a winner. I think it's a winner. It's not perfect. Nothing's perfect. But it's definitely a winner, worth investing if you don't have a previous MPC in your lineup. But if you do, it'll be fun. It's a good fun keyboard. I'm not so sure about how robust it is, moving it around for gigs. Get it in a hard case. Don't carry around the bag. You got those delicate knobs. You got that delicate flat screen on there. Got to be careful about that. All right. Well, that's my video. If you like this type of stuff, hit the comments below and know that I got a listening party on the 29th of June of 2022. If you're seeing this video this year, and I'll see you guys later. I'm out. I got to go.